On today's episode of Chicago Bears Now, we're going to focus on these two topics plus a top draft pick that could be a top draft pick. Talks about a current Bears player. We'll get to that as well. But more buzz on Marvin Harrison Jr. And could Chicago trade up for this player, not MHJ? We'll get to that here in just a few moments. But hey, help a brother out first. Give me a follow on Twitter, X, whatever you guys are calling it these days. At HGramNFL, we're like 80 followers away from 9,000 followers on Twitter. I would love to get there before the start of the draft. So give me a follow at HGramNFL, and I'll try to follow as many of you guys back. So go ahead and follow me right there. Okay, let's get to the latest on Marvin Harrison Jr. And something that was pretty interesting here that started circulating online was that Marvin Harrison Jr. only took visits with the Bears and Cardinals for top 30s. Now, I looked into this myself. I actually found out that he took a third one with the Giants, but that's it. Those are the only three teams he took draft visits with, which is very, very interesting. Another mock draft has Chicago trading up for Marvin Harrison Jr. We'll get to that here in a little bit as well. And there's been kind of just some online chatter of MHJ wanting to be a Bear. There was also a rumor that Caleb Williams' dad liked the tweet about Marvin Harrison Jr. I couldn't find it, so I don't have a screenshot of that tweet or anything like that. I'll be honest, I don't even know what Carl Williams' Twitter account is. So I did some deep digging, but I did not find that. But if that's true, too, that's pretty interesting as well. Rumors, they're flying around. The top 30 visits nugget is interesting. And again, just before the show started, confirming the Giants were a third team. But still, typically guys take a lot more visits than 2 or 3. And obviously Caleb Williams just took the 1, but that's because everybody knows he's the number 1 pick. So he only visited the Bears. But Marvin Harrison Jr. only going to Chicago, Arizona, and New York, which is pretty interesting. Now, that doesn't mean other teams won't draft him. That doesn't mean the Chargers couldn't take him at 5, although the heavy expectation is that Jim Harbaugh wants to go offensive line. So it does just make you wonder, if Arizona doesn't take him at 4, if they trade out or for some reason take someone else, does that open the door for the Chicago Bears to go up and get Marvin Harrison Jr.? I do not think he's going to fall to number 9 overall. Let me make that very clear. He is just too good of a prospect to do that. The production's been there. You just watch the film with how easily he separates and how smooth he is in his route running and the details and his ability to go up and catch the football, make plays in contested catch situations. I mean, there's just no weakness to this game. He's like a supercharged A.J. Green. Like, the build is similar to him, but I think he's faster and he's better after the catch as well. I just keep having these like imaginations of like Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. Like we're live next Thursday and we're just partying with these two guys coming to Chicago. I mean, could you imagine the hype in this city if Ryan Poles pulled that off on Thursday night? I mean, it would be unbelievable. And then you start thinking about what the offense could look like. I mean, you got Caleb at quarterback. DeAndre Swift and Khalil Herbert is your top 2 running backs. DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison Jr. with Keenan Allen in the slot at wide receiver. Cole Kmet and Gerald Everett at the tight end position. Some young, talented offensive linemen here with Darnell Wright as a first-round pick last year. Obviously, Tevin Jenkins, one of the better guards in the NFL when healthy. Sure, the rest of this group, it's, there's some good spots there, but you could certainly upgrade over the course of time. But this offense could be really good, especially if the quarterback can hit the ground running at least at a decent level as a rookie. So, again, there's projecting here. It's obviously a dream if they get Marvin Harrison Jr., but, man, if it were to happen, it would be absolutely unbelievable. One person who's mocking it to happen is Nick Wright, Fox Sports. First things first, he has Caleb going 1, the first of 4 quarterbacks to start this mock draft. He's got Jaden Daniels 2, J.J. McCarthy 3, who some people think Elliott Wolf likes J.J. McCarthy a lot in New England. Drake May there at 4 with the Giants trading up. Then he has Marvin Harrison Jr. trading up to 5 there with Arizona dropping from 4 to 6 to get Malik Neighbors before the rest of that top 10. But his trade idea looks pretty familiar. We've maybe talked about this a time or two on this show. Swapping 9 and 5 and then giving up a second-round pick via Carolina next year. That is the same trade idea that I have proposed on this show for about a month now, is one that I would offer. Is it enough? I'm not sure. Would I throw another middle round pick for either this year or next year to secure it if it meant getting Marvin Harrison Jr.? Probably. I mean, I love the idea of bringing this kid in here because I just think he's that special. I do think the potential is Hall of Fame for Marvin Harrison Jr., so you have to keep that in your mind when you're considering a trade up for a player of this caliber. Would you make this, or if you would make this trade, excuse me, type MHJ. If you would, type MHJ. If not, just say, nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to move up. I'll stay at 9. But again, like, if you can get him without giving up a future first, I am 100% in. Like, the Carolina pick, I get it. It's going to be top 40, but Marvin Harrison Jr. is as close to a can't-miss prospect as you can possibly find. I think he's the most can't-miss player in this draft. You get him in here, at worst, he's going to be a solid pro, and at best, he could be a top 3 receiver in this league. He really, really could. So you bring him in here, Keenan Allen in the slot, DJ Moore on the other side, Caleb Williams with a lot to work with as a rookie. That is very, very fun to think about. Now, could the Bears be trading for this player instead? Move up for a different blue-chip prospect in this year's NFL Draft. We'll explore that momentarily. But first, got to show some love to our sponsor. That is Prize Picks. The action on the hardwood is heating up as it is on the ice with the NBA and NHL playoffs getting going here in the middle and back half of April. Exciting times to be a sports fan, and it's perfect time to download the Prize Picks app because it is daily fantasy made easy. 3 million users or more using this app on a daily basis, and you should be one of them. Pick more, pick less, 2 to 6 player entries to get things rocking here. I got a little 3-player entry for some hoops action here. Nikola Jokic for Monday's game. They're giving you a deal on Prize Picks, half a point. Take the more. That's a gimme. Pair it with 1, 2, up to 5 more other picks here and take more or less. I got less on Tobias Harris points for the Sixers there in game 1, more than on Tyrese Maxey, 17.5 points. That's a goblin pick, lowers the stat projection, easier to hit, lowers the payout, but gives you a better chance of connecting. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to get that deposit match up to $100. It's easy. It's fun. You can download the app at that link right there. It takes less than 90 seconds to get an account created, less than 60 seconds to launch any given entry. You can make up to 100 times your money on certain entries. Get started today. Withdraw your earnings. Once you do so, it's going to be fun, and you can make some money as well. Go check it out. Okay, Joe Alt. Could Joe Alt be a player that the Bears trade up for? Daniel Jeremiah of NFL Network suggested that the Bears could trade up for Alt. We, of course, have talked about trading up for Marvin Harrison Jr. quite a few times on this show. Here's DJ on Twitter X saying, looking at the potential trade spots, thought this was an interesting one. Chicago trades up from 9 to 6 to take Joe Alt. I know they have a functional left tackle right now, but Alt and Darnell Wright would be an incredible tandem to protect Caleb for a decade, ideally for a 2025 pick and then a pick swap. So I like something similar, right, where you're trading, swapping 9 and 6, and then you're giving up something in 25. Maybe it's your own second-round pick instead of Carolina's or something like that. I'm a little more hesitant to trade up for Alt than I am for Marvin Harrison Jr., only because there are other offensive tackles that I could get at 9 or a little bit later. And I know you could say the same thing about receiver, right? I just think Marvin Harrison Jr. is just that special. That's why I would consider it in that regard. But Joe Alt's a very, very good prospect as well. Like, he is easily for me, I shouldn't say easily, but he is the top non-QB wide receiver prospect for me in this draft. Like, I'd probably have him as my 5th or 6th overall prospect behind Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors. Probably I'd go with Odunze a little higher too, but Alt's right there. I'd probably have him right at number 5. And the idea of putting him at left tackle to upgrade from Braxton Jones, who's solid, but you could certainly upgrade there to have and then have Darnell Wright on the right side. I mean, that's fun to think about. I mean, there's no question about it, and protecting your quarterback is key, but I don't think your offensive line is so bad that you have to trade up for Joe Alt. If you really want to go offensive tackle, you could get someone else. Again, Alt would be awesome at left tackle. I think he's the best pure left tackle in this class, which is why I have him as my number 1 overall offensive line prospect, because if the Bears are going to go offensive line, it should be to get a left tackle unless they're supremely confident Darnell Wright could move over there. Played some in college, but wasn't nearly as effective there as he was at right tackle. And plus, building off a strong rookie season at right tackle. I'd rather keep him there. At least that's my preference. Doesn't mean they couldn't switch him, but that's why Joe Alt's my top guy for a lot of reasons. Now, we talked about this on our last live show. We're also going to publish this episode soon. Could be already out depending on when you're watching this. The case for Joe Alt. Subscribe. Go to the content tab. If you see this thumbnail, you can go watch that video. Should the Bears draft Joe Alt? We explore that. Also, if you haven't already, I know we spent a lot of time on the first round, number 1 and number 9 picks. How about day 2? Some day 2 draft targets for the Chicago Bears. It would mean a lot to me if you would go watch this video. If you want to learn more about the middle rounds of the draft there, go check that out. YouTube.com/BearsNow. Subscribe, turn on notifications, explore the video content tab, and go watch some more videos like this one. Again, you look at my top prospects. Offensive tackle. I've explained why Alt is that top guy. Pure left tackle, multi-year starter there. I think he's the best left tackle in this class. If I knew Talise Fuaga could play left tackle, I would consider him over there. He's pretty damn good. I'm not sure if he can. Some think he can. Some aren't sure. That's only up to the Bears to know, and I don't have that information right now, but I've got him number 2. Olu at 3. I think J.C. Latham has more upside, but Olu's a multi-year starter at left tackle. Latham's played right tackle and right guard in college. So, again, I don't know if the Bears feel like he can play left tackle, although if they can, then they could very well draft him. Troy Fautanu, he might be able to play all 5 spots in the offensive line, so I've got him pretty high as well. Just my thinking overall, again, when you're talking about trading up for Joe Alt, would it be a bad decision? No. I would just rather trade down for Olu Fashanu, J.C. Latham, Troy Fautanu, pick up some extra capital than I would to lose capital to trade up for Joe Alt, who, yes, I think is the best left tackle, but I don't think it's by such a margin that you can't do it. Now, is the gap between Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors and Rome Odunze massive? Probably not, but maybe it's just, I don't know, maybe for whatever reason I'm more attracted to trading up for that than I am for Joe Alt. Maybe it's bad thinking by me, I don't know. I feel more comfortable doing that. I think Marv is safer than any of these offensive linemen at the end of the day. Should the Bears trade up for Joe Alt? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Again, I'm not like so against it that I would think it's a bad idea. I just personally wouldn't do it. Y for yes, N for no. Go ahead and let me know what you would do when it comes to Joe Alt. Let's talk Rome Odunze now, another potential Bears draft target, and he's a big fan of a current Chicago Bear. That would be Keenan Allen. He says that Allen is one of 2 wide receivers that he looks up to and watches and studies a lot. He was on the This Is Football podcast with Kevin Clark saying that Keenan Allen definitely and Davante Adams, 100%. I watch them a lot. Their route running and releases. Try to emulate some of the skills they have into my game. And that's certainly pretty interesting, right? As, well, Keenan Allen's on the Chicago Bears. So if he already watches them, getting to learn from him up close in person every single day and, OTAs, training camp, practice, all that stuff, that would be pretty damn valuable, which is why I still really like the idea of getting a receiver early, because even if you don't want to say it's a top need for 2024 since you have Moore and Allen, just the wisdom this young rookie could gain, whether it's Odunze or another receiver, from these 2 really good vets, I think is so valuable moving forward for this franchise and for this player's career. And on top of that, they're also just really damn good prospects, these top 3 receivers. Odunze is one of them. By the way, we haven't talked about this much. He actually returned punts a decent amount at Washington, especially as a rookie. He could be your punt returner, especially if he's going to be your number 3 receiver. Obviously, later into his career, you probably wouldn't have him doing that to, risk the injury. I don't think that would be worth it. But as a rookie, I could see it. I still think it's very possible the Bears take him at number 9. I know there's been some chatter. Maybe they go offensive line instead. But he's on the board when the Bears are picking at 9. That's going to be hard for me to pass up if I'm Ryan Poles. Do you want Rome Odunze at number 9? Type 1 for yes. That's the jersey number he wore in college. Type 0 for no. I would like to see it. Whether it happens or not remains to be seen. But either way, we're going to find out soon. We are 1 week away from the 2024 NFL Draft, which is why this is the time to subscribe. Don't miss out. Don't, not get a video or an update from us that has valuable information because you didn't subscribe or turn on the notifications. We would love to have you. It's 100% free. Please do so, and we'll see you guys soon.